Hey guys, Coach Ben here. We got a new segment for you this week called Coach Ben Training Quick Bites, and I'm going to recap my training for the week for you. Last week started off with some belt squats. We don't have any videos of that, but the reason I was doing belt squats, it's a great variation when you're trying to deload your spine. So last week was a deload week for me in my training. My lower back was feeling a bit beat up from going heavy the week prior. Ended up with getting 600 at the top on the deadlift, 750 on the squat, a little bit high, but I am coming back from 2.5 years off of equipped training, full power, so wanted to get a little bit of a deload in this week. So belt squats it was, tractions out your spine, feels awesome, allows me to keep getting some quality leg volume in. Friday was our first bench session here. I was in the bench shirt. I was actually doing some lighter technique work. So this is something that I encourage for equipped lifters. You don't always have to go heavy every time you're in a shirt. Sometimes you just want to practice that groove and get proficient at that groove. Like I always say, shirted training is technique training. All right, so what I did was I threw on my old shirt. It's a lot looser. It's more of a stretchy material. The ends are SDP. And this really allows me to get down with lighter weight, work that technique. We threw some accommodating resistance on the bar. So I had about 495 plus about 130 pounds of accommodating resistance via bands and chains. So got some good heavy weight at the top, but more importantly was able to work triples, even doubles down to the chest in the shirt and just get better at that groove. Moving on to deadlift training for this week. Went raw to stay out of the equipment. Remember, trying to do a deload here. Was able to pull off a 1 block raw. 1 block is actually a weak point for me, as for some lifters it will be. So oftentimes I'll program in a block pull, and most lifters think they're going to add this incredible amount of weight because the range of motion is shorter. That's not always the case, guys, because the point at which you're initiating the pull is going to be very different. So it's going to challenge you in unique ways. So some people are actually good at block pulls, some people aren't. I say it's about a 50-50 split. It's absolutely a weak point for me. So I did those raw this week to deload and to challenge myself with a variation that is a weak point for me. On to the second bench day of the week. We are performing pin presses. Love pin presses because it is a variation that really challenges you to get tight before pressing the bar. Something that you always want to practice is getting tight under the bar, but you don't have that eccentric portion to work with. So to initiate that press, you have to get tight, you have to hit the right groove, and you have to really spread that bar. Something that I'm big on in the equipped training, always keeping that constant spread to the bar. So that was really important to get that type of work in. Also went into some 2-board work, doing some raw close grip just to continue to work that end range. As an equipped lifter, that end range training is super important. I get asked often, Coach Ben, what do you do for your equipped training? And I keep it real simple. It's a variation of 3 bench press exercises for secondary work, and that is pin presses, board presses, and then floor presses. All right, that doesn't change. That remains constant. It's those partial range movements, but I add variations to them. So sometimes I'll floor press with an axle bar, with chains, without chains. I'll do board presses with bands, without bands, different grips. We'll do pin presses, various heights, various grips. So it's always variable. All right, so the exercises remain the same. It's a simple 3. How we perform them is always constantly different. Keep it fresh. So that was training this week. Hope you enjoyed this quick bite. Drop a comment below if you'd like to see more Coach Ben's training quick bites, and we'll see you next week.